I want to highlight that a second thing that was on the ballot, besides, you could say, God's own objectives, is the founders. In other words, I think that as I thought about the election, I thought what's at stake. The American dream is at stake. American exceptionalism is at stake. Are we going to get it back, or is it going to be gone in such a manner that we won't be able to ever retrieve it again? And then I thought, well, it's the architecture of the founders that's on the ballot. It's almost like the spirit or ghosts of the founders are hovering over the election, and the founders know, hey, we're on the ballot. And then this morning I look and I see on X, Charles Payne posting, the biggest winner in this election, the framers of the Constitution of the United States. And I thought to myself, yeah, that's true. In other words, this is a victory bigger than Trump. It is a victory that may portend a larger realignment, and we'll have a lot to say about that. But beyond that, it is a victory for the peculiar arrangements of our constitutional republic. And if that seems a little bit grandiose, it seems to mirror the Democrats who say, well, democracy's on the ballot, the Constitution's on the ballot. I mean it in a somewhat more specific sense. And that is that the American founders created a Bill of Rights and enumerated certain rights. And by the way, a number of them thought that there were many more rights other than the ones that were enumerated. And in all these cases, these enumerated rights are beyond the scope of government. Government is not supposed to touch these rights. And they're not up for majority referendum. Who cares if a majority is against you? The majority has no say in the matter. Think about it. You have a right of conscience, First Amendment. That's religious liberty. If 99% of people disagree with your religious views, do they have a right to trample on yours? No. Why? Because your rights are inviolable. You have never given those up. And the same as your right to free speech and your right to assembly and your right to due process of law and equal protection of the laws. And so here's the point. The Democrats and the left have been trampling on these rights. And they've been doing it since Obama. When I first came to America, you had arguments between Carter and Reagan, and later, of course, between George H.W. Bush and Clinton. You had arguments over foreign policy, arguments over domestic stuff, but you didn't have arguments about whether American citizens enjoyed free speech and had the right to continue doing that. So in this sense, the basic protections of our Constitution have been called into question, have in some cases been thrown out the window.